Okay, we're here at Deerfield. I did not come here yesterday. I was teaching 5th grade, and there doesn't seem to be a whole lot going on yet, but it's only 7 o'clock in the morning. There's rain to the south around Cape Cod. Hopefully that won't hit here. So we'll take a look and see what's going on here today. It was a little strange coming in here today. They've changed the entrance. So if you come up here next spring, the entrance is going to be a little bit different than it was last spring. So we'll take a look and see what's going on at Deerfield Nearfest. Great time for most hams. If you're watching this and you didn't come up and you live in New England, you lazy bum. But come on and get up here.
Hi Bert, I'm Steve, WA1QIX.
Can you tell me a little bit about why would anyone want to go on AM in the day of sideband?
Oh, well, I mean, I've been on AM for 45 years or so, something like that, and I've actually never operated on sideband.
You've never operated on sideband?
I never have, actually.
And
I mean, other than for testing a rig, you know, if I repair something, I'll try it out and make sure it works.
Those that are on AM, how are they different than sidebanders?
Well, there's probably two main characteristics. Most of the people on AM either build their own equipment, okay, or take poorly designed commercial equipment and modify it so that it sounds good. The whole reason to be on AM is because of the sound.
Okay, what's the maximum bandwidth that most AM stations will run?
Typically it's in the voice range, so you might have a station that's plus or minus 5 kilohertz, because there's very little voice energy above that. If you go or something like that, it's there, but you know, really it doesn't communicate much knowledge. So 5 kc or 5.5, 6 is perfectly fine.
So if a person watching this video has not operated AM, and let's say they have what is considered to be a rice box, maybe you might define a rice box for me.
Well, I mean, it's a derogatory term to describe commercially made amateur equipment. But really, many of them are excellent. The ICOM like 7300, although it's not high fidelity, produces a pretty reasonable AM signal out of the box. The best one are the Flexes, or the Anons. Flex 5000, okay, Flex 6500, the Anon 100, 200 series sound phenomenal out of the box.
And let's assume someone hasn't been on AM, where can they go to find AM signals?
Well, there's a few places in the band, but on 80 meters, there's a frequency 30 at 85, 3.885 okay, megahertz, plus or minus 10 or 15 kilohertz. There's a lot of AM there. 160 meters is AM clustered around 1945, okay, 1.945 and 1.885. And on 40 meters, it's all at the top of the band.
Okay.
7200.
Are there anything up on 20 meters or higher?
There's some AM on 20 meters, but not a lot. Once in a while you see it. Now, when 10 opens up or 15 opens up, you'll find AM up there. But you know, it's catch as catch can because it depends on openings.
Okay, what do you use for AM equipment?
All right, I use stuff like this. So it may not look beautiful, but this is a home-built legal limit transmitter. This is the modulator over here. This is a very high power transmitter. This is not typical of what people run on AM.
And how much power does this run?
Oh, it'll run the legal limit for sure, 1500 watts without a problem. And this is the RF amplifier. I completely designed and built this whole thing.
So legal limit is not 1500 watts carrier, is it?
Right, it's not really. It's sort of murkily defined for AM because the 1500 watts PEP power limit was primarily designed for single sideband where PEP means something. On okay, AM it doesn't really have any particular meaning, and no other place is AM power measured that way. For instance, in broadcasting it's measured in power output of the carrier, not in peak envelope because it has very little meaning on AM. And the other problem with AM is, depending on how you measure it, you can take the same power and get a different reading. Okay. If you measure it in the frequency domain or the time domain, so that's, you know, you'll get a different calculation. So.
If someone is not inclined to build their own as the quality that you have there, what kind of high quality AM equipment can they get?
If they want to buy it?
If they want to buy it.
The best are the Flexes.
Okay.
If you buy a Flex or an Anon, you will have out of the box a high fidelity transmitter. Okay. If you run it right. I mean, you have to run it right. And, and so if you want to buy it, you got it.
Now you have, what class is that you have that we just looked at?
This here,
Yes.
this is Class E.
Okay. And how does Class E different from Class A being, Class C is basically 30% conduction, if I remember it correctly.
Yeah, Class E and D and F are all switching modes. So
Okay.
the RF amplifier runs in a switching configuration. It's either on or off, on or off. The modulator is Class D. It's
Okay.
also a switching mode modulator. Class C is close to switching mode, but it's not. The output is linear.
What would an ICOM 7300 run? What class would that be when it's running AM?
7300, so that would be like a Flex, except it's kind of self-contained with a user interface that's physical and all that.
So,
There's a lot of them in the field. They don't sound great on AM, but they're not horrible.
okay, so that you can get by.
You can get by.
Now, in the Northeast, which is where we are now, you have a net. Well, tell me a little bit about the net that you have.
Well, we have a couple of nets, but the one I'm most involved with is the Lonely Guys,
Okay.
which you are a member.
Right.
So the Lonely Guys is a great net. It's an AM net. It meets on Saturday mornings at 8 o'clock
Okay.
on 3.875 megaseconds. And it has a discussion topic every day, and it's made up of a bunch of regular people that just have a really good time. We have 350 some odd members as of this moment, which is October 2017. We have 350 Lonely Guys.
And
That's great.
And everyone gets a chance.
Anybody who checks into the net, it's a directed net. Everybody gets
Okay.
a chance, and anybody can join it. You have to be on AM. You have to tell me you want to join,
Okay.
and I'll set you up in our database, and you're in.
All right. Okay. Okay, we've heard a lot from Steve, WA1QIX. We're going to hear a little bit more from him in a few minutes. But first we're going to speak to someone a little bit different. And he's a kind of a CB'er, but he does have a great interest in ham radio. And then we will get back to Steve, where he's going to tell us about something more to do with AM. Okay, your name and call.
Is John Lubridge, and I'm not a ham yet. Go by Cyclops 2020 on 11 meters.
Okay, and how was business yesterday?
It was quiet. A lot of people love beautiful weather. We can't complain about that. Normally it's not as nice up here.
How does the number of people today compare with
A
yesterday?
lot of people. A lot of people. I think they should. I'd really like to see the group change it to the weekend fully. Not everybody works. They have to come. They
Well,
can't
did you
come
have
on
more
Friday.
yesterday or more today? Or
Today,
Oh,
definitely.
you have more today. And how come you don't have a ham license?
I came up. I've studied for a few times. I'm a disabled veteran.
Okay.
And I have a head injury,
Okay.
so it takes me memorizing. I did come up last year, and then there were no VEs available to give me the test.
And you're a veteran. When were you in the service?
1982 through 1988, United States Marine Corps.
Okay. Oh, a Marine, always a Marine,
I was a
right?
Marine, man.
Okay, I was in the Air Force, so I'm nowhere as tough as you
I'm
are.
not going to hold that against you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm nowhere as tough as you. Now you said you've seen me before.
YouTube, I'm a big fan.
And why?
Huge fan.
Why would you be a fan?
I enjoy it. You look at the hobby with the outlook that I like.
Do you see? You have any? Can you recall anything that I've said that you kind of agree with?
A lot.
Okay, I guess you're too shy to be specific.
Yeah. That was a conversation. No, really. I've seen a lot of your stuff. I've actually used one of your videos showing people how to tune an amp because they didn't know how to tune an amp.
Okay.
So yours was very short-winded, right into it, and you didn't speak for 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. No, I try and keep everything below 10 minutes or less. Now, what you may not have realized, you had a guy here that wanted to buy an SWR meter, and he kept looking it up and looking it up and looking it up, and he finally figured out that it was. He thought it wasn't what he wanted, but it turned out it was. I didn't let him know, and I bought it off of you. I'm buying it off of you for $10. But I figured I give him 3 chances to get it.
I
take
do it too.
I take it, and I figured, okay, that's enough.
And it's more about spreading the stuff out with our hobby. You know what I mean? We're all the same. We all enjoy this, and it's a wonderful hobby and a great fellowship.
Yeah.
I go all over the country meeting people, different breaks. I was up at a gentleman opened his house up to us up in Meredith the other day.
Okay.
You know, total stranger, and I was welcome, with open arms.
All right. Now you're going to see some of the equipment that you have. While we're shooting this, I'll take some clips later and put them in. but you've got everything you have priced, which is nice. At least people know where they stand.
Yeah.
Do you bargain at all?
Of course.
Okay.
All right. We're in the flea market.
All right. Well, there's a guy up there. He was very pompous, and he said, I said, how much is that? And he said 65. I said, would you take 60? He said, sir, it's worth 65. And I felt like saying, yeah, okay, take it.
Take it home with it.
Yeah.
See, now we were bargaining on
You're
some
right.
stuff, and I offered a rapid for you for the price.
Yeah. Well, we were apart on price, and that's okay. That's
okay.
totally
That's
totally
okay. That's what it's all about.
Because I want to steal it, and you want to make it.
And you may come up my house sometime, and I may send it home with you for free.
Okay.
You can come up and get some fresh eggs and have dinner.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. Can you tell me about the AM rally? What is that?
Sure. So the AM rally is an offshoot of the AM transmitter rally, which started, I think, about 6 or 7 years ago, as sort of a response to have an AM contest that was fairly judged and would include everybody. So that it went on for a number of years, but basically it was just a few people promoting it. So Clark, N1BCG, who's a really great guy, hooked up with the league, the American Radio Relay League, and he made this connection, and the league got really involved and helped us promote it. So the one we had last year in April, I think it was the first one that the league, sanctioned and advertised and promoted and operated during the event. WA1QIX was on through the whole thing.
Okay.
It was really good. So I do all the logistics, logging, back-end servers. I provide software for people to log. I like that. So we have another one coming up this year. It's in February, I believe. I just forget the date offhand. Again, with cooperation of the American Radio Relay League. It's for anybody on AM running any piece of equipment.
Okay. What are the frequencies?
Anywhere that's legal.
Okay.
But we have suggested frequencies on the website, which is amrally.com.
Okay.
And I also host that. It's part of the back end. And that has suggested frequencies, how to tune up your transmitter if you're not sure how to do it. Things like that. Where to get equipment, if you need to something,
Is there a prize or anything, or?
There's no official prizes that are monetarily weighable, but if you win the AM rally, that's a feat. It's hard to do.
Right.
It's hard to win that contest. It really is.
Do you get any kind of recognition? Do you post something?
Yes.
Okay.
We publish things. I believe we are going to do certificates for like first, second, and third place in different categories and stuff like that.
All right.
And we have different categories. So in other words, say you're running 25 watts or 50 watts. You have a small transmitter, you're running 50 watts. You are not judged against people running 1,000 watts. In other words, you have a category that's a power level that you're in. So you could win in that category. And we do have an overall first place, second, third, but we also have winners in categories.
Now, in other contests, you give signal reports, which are generally not true. And what is the exchange in this?
So you can give a signal report. What's required for logging, if you want to be, quote, official and send in a log, and we have free logging software to do that is available, and you just upload it to a server. We want you to exchange the person's call, obviously, their name, their location, and what they're using for equipment, and and tell them what you're using for equipment. We're very interested in sort of capturing what people are running for AM.
Okay.
I generate a lot of statistical information from that.
And you publish that as well?
Everything is published. Every bit of information that we get is published. So you can see there were like 60 people running Valiants. That's a kind of an interesting piece of equipment. And there were 45 people running 7300s and stuff like that. It's very interesting to see who's running what on the air. Okay, we've taken a look at Nearfest here, but you saw an interview about AM with WA1QIX. He did a very good job, and we learned an awful lot from him. And I had another interview with a fellow that doesn't have a ham license yet, but he seems to be pretty interested in ham radio.
And as usual here at Nearfest 2017 in the fall, inmates are running the asylum.